Hello, all viewers. Welcome to another session with me, Varun on Tech Tablet. And this is Machine Learning Interview Questions Part 9. And well, last video I wasn't able to show myself because I wasn't able to, match in with the yellow vibe. I didn't find my yellow t-shirt, so I wasn't visible. So yeah, without wasting time, let us quickly go forward. I started with SAP ABAP, moved on to UI5, which is, mobile application interface. Okay, I've started my YouTube channel with SAP and then into data science. Okay, followed my passion, which is rap videos. I make rap in English, Hindi, and Telugu. If you've not heard, you should probably check out this YouTube channel. It's also available on Spotify, Amazon Music, etc. And I also am a data science trainer and a developer. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I work on R, Python, and TensorFlow. Now, the first question that we have here is what is entropy and how does it work in decision trees? So the entropy, firstly, it measures the disorder in a data set. Okay, and in case of decision trees, this results in a split. So the more homogeneous is your data, it means that the lower will be the entropy. Now, this is also something, this has also got something to do with standard deviation. We've covered this in a lot of questions. Probably we've seen some questions repeating once or twice. So yeah, I think by now you should have remembered that. And the more you have, the number of splits, the more you have chances to find the parts of data in which your data is homogeneous. All right, and therefore the lower would be your entropy in these parts. However, you may still find that in certain nodes the data is not homogeneous, and therefore the entropy would not be that small. What is the advantage and drawback of random forest compared to decision trees? This has been covered. As I said, there are some questions which are, covered, which repeat. But I think now you should be more confidently be able to answer. When we talk of random forest has great accuracy, but it takes a toll when we talk about its, uh, interpretation ability. When to use random forest and when to use other models. Okay, so I would say there's no hardcore answer to this. You may, plan to choose this based on, different models. But firstly, you would need to figure out what your problem statement is. And based on this, your data, is it linear or non-linear? After this, if your problem is linear, then you would go for logistic. But if it is not, then you would go for model like SVM or KNN. All right. Now, if your problem is, yeah, as I said, if it is non-linear, you would go for SVM or KNN or naive Bayes or decision tree or etc. Then, which one you should choose among these five? Maybe another question amongst these five which you have in non-linear ones. If this is your question, I mean, if you're struggling between KNN, SVM, naive Bayes, decision tree, etc., then you would want to decide this based on the results you would have in your validation, that is k-fold cross validation, right? So these are some ways in which you can understand which model is the best to use. The fourth one is how do we decide how many trees would be enough to get a relatively accurate result? The same answer, you would be doing parameter tuning and then grid search with k-fold cross validation. This would help you get answers. But other than that, you can also do manual tweaking. Manual tweaking is by changing the values, right? And how do we change the values? You can change the values like minimum split, okay, maximum depth, okay, and test train values. All right, you have a lot of hyperparameter tuning options which you can probably try, and these are the ones that will actually get you better results, is my opinion. Where can we apply clustering algorithm in real life? Wow, clustering is something to do with k-means, right? So you can apply this in market segmentation. You can use this in medicine with example for tumor detection. You can use this in fraud detection. You can use this to identify clusters of your customers. So this is used also in market basket analysis, wherein you try to apply clusters, wherein different customers are of different types, right? So all these, I mean, though the algorithm is different in market basket analysis, it uses a priori algorithm, but yes, clustering is also a principle that can be used to understand, the segmentation of the market as we were just talking. Now, can we select the most significant variable in random forest with the help of p-value? Well, I think the question in itself is a horrible one because p-value is not available for non-linear models, right? And p-value is acceptable or useful only to linear models. But because feature selection is not possible, you could do feature extraction, and this would still reduce the number of variables for you. The seventh question that I have here is how can we reduce overfitting of random forests? This is a very frequently asked question. So if in case you have no clue about how to answer this, then the answer is pretty simple. You would be using penalization and the regularization parameters to build the model. However, the best and the most efficient way as known to all of us would be to reduce the overfitting, and this can be done by applying k-fold cross-validation as you can see, and by optimizing a tuning parameter on the bootstrapped data. Pretty much known to all of us. It's just that we are now getting better at what we know. How much should we rely on confusion matrix? This is a question that's been discussed, but in different terms. But now we'll talk about the same in probably a bit of different terms. As we know, confusion matrix is good to understand your model performance, but it's not the best or it's not the only one you can rely on. So in order to probably cross check with something, you may want to use the k-fold cross validation. So by this I mean to say that k-fold cross validation is literally very important. We've seen or we've come across this model evaluation till now a lot of times, and now by now you should have understood the importance of how this evaluation metric is used across different algorithms, right? So you should probably consider this when you want to use an algorithm. And notwithstanding that, you can also consider values like precision, recall, F1 score, all these, some of them which are parts of accuracy, some of them, which are parts of other model testing as far as the classification model is concerned. Is cumulative gain curve the same thing as cap? Well, they're the same. Okay. But just that, the gain curve is the name for cap curve in marketing context. Okay. So it's just that the domain specific terminology that we are looking into. But again, yeah, I don't think this question is really very important. This is another, repeated question. I assume you must be knowing answer to this. That is low. What would low bias and variance or high bias and variance mean? So low bias means that your model prediction is really good. High bias is exactly the opposite. Low variance, on the other hand, is when your model is running several times and your predictions aren't really varying much. High variance is exactly the opposite. Now, as discussed or as known by now, ideally you should have known this. When you're building a model, it is always apt to come up with a low bias and a low variance. Okay. Uh, Low bias and high variance is sometimes, come up, but then, I mean, if you have this, you should try to restrict this to, the best of your capability. All right. Uh, so yeah, these are the 10 questions that I have for you in this video. And if you have any questions or any queries, please feel free to use the comment section, or you could revert back to me on Hyderabadi_Chora in Instagram, or you could write to me at yahoo.com. And I will be more than glad to revert back to you at the earliest with the information required, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay inside. You have a great day out there.